How was lunch?
It was good.
Not as good as it would have been.
I think you would have been. You would have gave it the super.
I was supposed to eat, but we went in the kitchen and we spotted Stuart Little, so we decided not
No,
to.
you didn't. Don't say that after I ate all that macaroni and cheese.
I'm serious. The speciality today, hepatitis B.
Oh, see.
Hepatitis B.
My stomach is now starting to grumble.
You didn't eat here for
Come
lunch
on.
though, did you?
I did.
Oh shit.
We need to go get shots.
Crazy.
Penicillin stat.
Serious?
This
we
is
shot
bad.
Kitchen Nightmares here last month.
No,
you
you
didn't eat here.
didn't. No, you
You
didn't.
mean Fox didn't tell you?
Now I'm having hives.
I know. I'm like,
It was the mac and cheese. I knew it. Shit was too good.
it was too good, right?
It's horrible. Gordon Ramsay says I'm getting hives from the mac and cheese here. Don't eat at the Palomar's restaurant. Sorry. They can all throw us out now.
Yes. Right.
So on that note, since you're talking about restaurants,
Yes.
is there a restaurant that just sticks out in your mind that you're like, I couldn't even, because every week it's like.
Oh no, it's not all bad. Oh no, there are some amazing restaurants out there. I think what frustrates more than anything is that when they tell you they've cleaned up and they've got things together and everything's back to normal, they know I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the mess of the place whilst I arrive, what's it like 3 months prior to me getting there? That was the big question.
Yeah.
And secondly, we have a duty to customers. I think kitchens should be inspected like going to the dentist. I think every customer's got the right to walk into the kitchen at any time of the evening they wish, like going to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, isn't it? You go out and you see the amount of time ladies spend in bathrooms. When that bathroom's not immaculately clean, the time in the restaurant's cut in half.
Yeah.
What can you expect from the new season?
Season 5.
Season 5.
Season 5. For me, one of the toughest. I'm not just saying that because it's season 5. Toughest because it's the most talented. We had 6 in the final 6 that were equally good enough to win it, which is rare. Normally we get down to like 3 or 4, and then we sort of, we can identify who's going to be in the top 2. But this year, 6 amazing, talented, and one amazing girl again that had only been cooking for 2 years. That was extraordinary to see her get everything right in the taste test. 15 out of 15. Only been in the kitchen for 2 years. That's a natural talent. You can't buy that. You can't go to the CIA and study that. You can't read a cookbook and learn that. That's a natural ability, and that's quite rewarding.
When you're at home, what would you cook for yourself?
For myself?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a zoo at home, really. We've got 4 children, so Tana and I, she cooks Monday to Friday, and I'll sort of take care of the weekends. What do I do very, very quickly? This time of year, winter-wise, -10 yesterday at home. I got here yesterday. We were on holiday at Christmas last Friday. I cooked the most amazing chorizo, sausage, potato, cabbage stew, almost like a sort of one-pot wonder, but done with lots of vegetables, and it was basically the sort of leftovers that would come back from holiday too, still in the fridge. And we finished it with flageolet beans, butter beans, which are incredibly healthy, but it was quite sumptuous and rich. And we had a frozen baguette that was roasted in the oven, rubbed with garlic and rosemary, and they were just sort of sitting there on the side and dunking it in Friday night.
For leftovers, that was.
For leftovers, yeah. I hate waste. I mean, it's the secret of any good restaurant, I suppose. Not because you turn waste into something immaculate, but chefs shouldn't waste. At home, we got brought up with the values of eating well, but not getting too carried away. And secondly, when I was growing up in Scotland, we didn't have a choice of an appetizer and main course. We had our tea, and we got a bath, and we were sent to bed. So that kind of, I suppose, respect has to come through for this generation. Otherwise, I don't want my kids turning out to be food snobs by the time they get to the age of 15 and where's my ravioli and lobster? I don't want to go for a pizza. They got to understand what food's about and how you go through that journey. It's important not to, I suppose, stop them from doing that.
And Gordon, you said this season is the most challenging. So you said there's 5 to 6 people who can make it.
6.
What are you looking for specifically this season? What's the winner gonna?
I mean, I just looked last night. I was on service at the restaurant on Sunset and watching Christina evolve. She's only been with us for 3 months on the back of winning. We've just won a Michelin star within 3 months, and looking at the development in that team from her after 3 months is extraordinary. What we're faced with here is sadly the person that didn't win was equally good enough to open their own restaurant. The hardest situation ever this year was because of the phenomenal prize, because the setup is extraordinary and an amazing salary and an amazing platform, but it was so tight. And it was down to, obviously, my choice, but more importantly, we go through this tempestuous sort of roller coaster ride, and then we get to the end, and you can start feeling the wind coming through the tunnel. And then when you're down to talent, 6 talented cooks, they could have worked in any top restaurant anywhere in the States. I mean, anywhere. It was that nice, and it was gratifying for the first time ever, to be honest, that you got that much talent coming through, because we get a lot of knocks because they say it's not real, and I'm saying, look, it is real. What you don't ever envisage, and you can never gauge from home, is the amount of pressure they're under from day one. So it's extraordinary because it's the restaurant's on their shoulders. It's not like a little cooking competition where they have to cook one dish. And then they're together like a family. So it's, it's emotional, and everyone's leaning on each other, and everyone's sort of trying to support each other, but they know weekly that one's going to be leaving, and it's hard to come to terms with, I think, really.
Last question.
Being that you are the critic that you are at times on the show, and being being the person who demands excellence like you do, one would think that your dining experience is when you're away from everything and it's just you and your loved ones, or you by yourself, or you with a business mate or something.
Sure.
When you go to enjoy a meal,
it
must be interesting for you. When's the last time that you either left a restaurant thoroughly satisfied or completely repulsed to the point that you were going to go back into the kitchen and find the sous chef? Do you know who I am? This place is crap.
It's hard. It's very, very hard. I recently went undercover in the UK with a prosthetic mask and spent 4 hours in prosthetic mask and went on cooking school challenges where I went in as a punter, as a normal house husband, retired school teacher. Sadly, they couldn't make me look younger, which was not difficult. So I went in as a 65-year-old retired French teacher, and I went into these top cookery schools across the country. I was appalled at £400-500 a day. So you're talking $750, $800 a day to learn how to make crap. That kind of stuff still functions in restaurants where chefs cut corners and serve crap food and expect to get away from it. I think restaurants should be governed by licensing, in terms of standard control, like we do with our health or our medical, because there's too much undercover stuff going on. So my insult in leaving a dish would be just to ignore it and not even send it back, but just don't even touch it. That's a bigger embarrassment. I discovered a restaurant recently on Kitchen Nightmares that were announcing that they were making a roasted vine tomato soup, and half of it was canned, half of it was a jar, and bits were left over. You can't write that on a menu that it's homemade roasted vine tomato soup. I had the most amazing dinner recently at a restaurant called Melisse in Santa Monica here, where it was my wife's birthday in August, and we were out here for 6 weeks in the summer. And the children were here, and they had the day on the beach, and they went back and they had a DVD, because you shouldn't be taking them out to those kind of fine restaurants. And we had the most extraordinary dinner. It's just won 2 Michelin stars here, and everyone talks about the sort of New York chefs on the East Coast, but this guy, the local guy, if you ever get a chance to go to the restaurant, it's called Melisse, and it is phenomenal, absolutely amazing. And from start to finish, it was immaculate. I mean, really immaculate, something that I was so impressed with.
Well, let's hope President Obama makes you the head of the FDA.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy